Hello and welcome to episode 167 of Glitch Report. My name is GnittWitt. Thank you so much for stopping by, saying hi, kicking it with me today on the Stream of Dreams, the show of shows, and everything in between. You can find everything that I do over at my Linktree, linktree.com/GnittWitt, GnittWitt. I am on Twitch, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, all of those great places can be yours. The price is right. No, you can head over to Linktree and that'll point you in the direction of the places you need to go to see the things that I do. If you want to see the things that I do, and if you don't want to see the things that I do, well, you don't have to see them. You can listen to them because this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. There was a time when I knew that this podcast was making its way to iHeartRadio. It probably still is. I don't know why, that's the third thing that people mention. I know a lot of podcasters and stuff have pivoted to video and all of that stuff. The reason why I do the video is just because it's easy. I think it was Jeff Gerstmann on Blue Sky talking about the lack of production value needed to produce a podcast, because if you are listening in audio, who the fuck cares what you look like? And if you're watching it on YouTube, you're probably opening the thing on YouTube and then going and doing something else and not actually looking at what's on screen. But hey, no matter how you got here, you're here, I'm here. Let's talk about some goddamn video games. Oh boy, it is Black Friday, the week of Black Friday. Happy Black Friday to those that celebrate. All of that stuff. There's a huge amount of games and news to talk about. Kind of as always, I was at a Costco earlier this morning, and that might explain why I'm so tired. I got in and out of Costco. First of all, we get to the Costco, and my dad and I, we get to the Costco before they open, and they're already open. You get there, and it's this place is not supposed to start opening till 9 o'clock, and it was 8:40, and they were open. We're just all right, fuck it, we're going in right now, getting in, getting out. And we were out relatively quickly, but it was I don't know if you've ever gone to Costco with somebody, and you've done the 2-cart thing where it's okay, we're just on different wavelengths in terms of what we're gonna get. So you take a cart, I take a cart, and we're all gonna run around and try to meet back at the same time. But I basically spent time, I would almost say, running through Costco like a madman, trying to grab stuff and get out of there before it actually opened. We were trying to get in and out of a Costco in half an hour, which sounds probably fucking crazy. But, if you've ever been to Costco right when they open, you know that there is no time in the day where it is not a madhouse. So hey, congratulations to me for getting in and out of a Costco like I was robbing the place. I did not rob the place for what it's worth. I did not steal from the good folks at Costco. I did have a hot dog. Oh, I know why I feel like shit. It's because I had 2 hot dogs and a cup of coffee for lunch. That's why I feel like my body is a swamp, on the inside. I'm not talking swamp ass or anything like that. My ass is fine, for those wondering. But now I know why I feel like a human turd burger. It's because I had a cup of coffee before I left for the Costco, and then and then 2 hot dogs on the way out. So yeah, that explains it. But it doesn't matter how I feel. It matters how you feel. What's up, gamers? I'm never saying you will have to pay me good money to say that again. Anyways, you're here, I'm here. We're talking about video games. I got a huge amount of news to get to. I've been playing some games. I have been also dropping some games. Part of this whole thing that I got going on for game of the year and discussing that sort of thing is just kind of seeing where the rubber meets the road on a lot of these games and being am I going to play this game? Yes or no? Okay. If I play it, am I going to finish it? Yes or no? So there is this kind of push and pull in terms of shit or get off the pot, right? And we've been talking about this for weeks now, like Hades 2 or The Outer Worlds 2, or do I start up a new game, or do I return to something like Avowed or South of Midnight, or do I keep messing around with Call of Duty Black Ops 7? What is there to, see in Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that I haven't already seen? Well, I did finish I did successfully complete one run in the end game mode. That is the PvE extraction shooter mode. We'll talk more about that, but really this is just a scenario of like, I'm really just wrestling with, and this is maybe weird for someone who doesn't make content. You might be like, why are you overthinking this? But like, I've been sitting around these, last couple of weeks and being like, am I happy with the things that I've accomplished and played and touched this year in gaming, right? Like, am I okay with probably never getting a chance to play something like Dispatch this year, right? Am I okay with, potentially dropping something like Hades 2 because of the story, or barely having touched Ninja Gaiden 4, right? And Avowed, or Outer Worlds 2, or the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster. Like, there's just so many things where I'm basically having to come to peace with what I have done and what I have failed to do, not to make a biblical reference up in here. So that's kind of where I'm at. I imagine that you are not in that same scenario unless you do make content, and if you do make content, hey, like, more power to you. Maybe you are making different content than I when it comes to games, and you're not as worried about like trying to encapsulate and capture the entire year, which becomes more and more of a ridiculous task every year, I feel like, in terms of like, oh, how do we feel about the entire year of gaming in a world where you have touched less than 10% of the games that have come out this year? Probably even less than 5%, but we'll round up to 10 for a nice even number. So that's where I'm at. And the funny thing is that hasn't really stopped the wave of news articles coming out. You would think as we get closer to December, other than news stories around Black Friday deals and stuff like that, you'd think that this would kind of slow down a little bit, but that has not been the case. We can kick things off in our news segment talking about Embracer Group. It's been a while since we talked about Embracer Group. You've probably been thinking, oh, they got all of that stuff out of their system. They're done embracing, or maybe they're ready to embrace. They have been preparing to fully embrace those that they have acquired and picked up through different deals and mergers. And you'd think now is the time for them to actually start making video games and begin embracing the things that, kind of brought them to the success and big business dealings that they started off with. And success is a strong word, considering they just were mostly being funded by Saudi Arabia. Not that there's anything wrong with being funded by Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about Saudi Arabia later on the podcast. But basically, in a world where this company was just like, hey, we got a bunch of Saudi money, or we're promised to get a bunch of Saudi money, let's spend it. Embracer has now sold off 2 more companies from its acquisition era, as Remnant and Neverwinter firms have been offloaded. Getting this news story from VGC, videogamechronicles.com. As always, shout out to videogameschronicles.com. We got Andy Robinson breaking it down for us. Neverwinter developer Cryptic Studios and Arc Games publisher of Remnant from the Ashes has been sold off by Embracer Group. The 2 companies have been acquired by Project Golden Arc, owned and led by members of Arc Games' management team in a $30 million deal funded by XD Incorporated. Arc Games, formerly known, and this is maybe where you might remember them, Arc Games is formerly known as Perfect World Entertainment and a Gearbox Publishing San Francisco, is the publisher behind live service games such as Star Trek Online. Hey, I played Star Trek Online earlier this year. Neverwinter, Remnant from the Ashes and Remnant 2, Torchlight, Hyper Light Breaker, and the recently released Fellowship. Cryptic Studios, on the other hand, are the developer behind such games as City of Heroes, Neverwinter, and Star Trek Online. Embracer acquired the two companies in 2021 as part of its now notorious acquisition spree, which resulted in thousands of layoffs and multiple studio closures. Many of its surviving studios have since been sold, including Borderlands developer Gearbox as well as Saber Interactive. Now, as part of the deal, the publishing rights for the Remnant franchise will be transferred from Arc Games to Embracer's own THQ Nordic, which already owns the Remnant IP rights and the development studio Gunfire Games. The rights for the multiplayer online game Fellowship will be part of Coffee Stain, which is expected to be spun off from Embracer and publicly listed. Phil Rogers, CEO of Embracer Group, said, "This transaction supports our key priorities by strengthening our focus on the strategic asset and core IPs in Embracer while improving profitability and free cash flow. The deal also allows online multiplayer game Fellowship, developed by the talented external team in Stockholm, to find a great home within Coffee Stain Group. I would like to thank the teams at Arc and Cryptic for their hard work over the past 4 years and wish them all the best as we are confident they will thrive and develop in the years ahead." Now, if you remember Coffee Stain, I would just like to pull this up here so I get my facts straight. I try to get my facts straight on this podcast. Coffee Stain make a lot of fucking crazy games. Number one, they are the Goat Simulator people. Coffee Stain, the Goat Simulator people. They made Goat Simulator as well as Goat Simulator 3. They have made such games as they've published Deep Rock Galactic. They have made Satisfactory, the first-person open-world factory building game. And their most recent release was a game they published called As We Descend, which, stop me if you've heard this one before, is an apocalyptic roguelike deck builder with squad sculpting and deep tactics. But basically, Coffee Stain are the Goat Simulator people and the Satisfactory people, which I think is crazy enough as it is to be that big. But I guess I'm guessing Goat Simulator sold a lot of copies, man. I bet Goat Simulator made more money than God, if I had to guess. Anyways, moving and shaking at Embracer Group, they are not ready to fully embrace, the studios that they have acquired. They still want to let go of some of them. What are you going to do? It wouldn't be an Embracer Group story if they somehow weren't letting people go as part of their business dealings. Hello in the chat. Hello chat. Thank you for hanging out. Let's maybe move on to another news story. This I already made a video on. You should go check out that video, especially on YouTube. We'll talk about it here on the podcast right now. I got one question. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Because Eminem will be in Hitman World of Assassination in two separate roles. Number one, Eminem will be playing himself, and the story goes in this elusive target mission, Hitman Agent 47 will be hired by Eminem himself to hunt and assassinate Eminem's alter ego, Slim Shady. The next elusive target is coming out in December. It is called Eminem versus Slim Shady. It will be free if you own Hitman World of Assassination that's coming out December 1st. You will also be able to buy cosmetics for like Eminem related cosmetics for like $5 if you want to as well. I'll probably, can I look at what they actually Hitman? I'm going to type Hitman into my computer. First of all, Hitman's on sale. If you've not played Hitman, it's an incredible video game, but it is not available. The DLC pack is not available yet, but I'm an idiot and I'll probably end up buying this Eminem pack. Why not? Anyways, here's how it goes. This is according to Senior Global Communications Director at IO Interactive. This is what they have to say about Eminem versus Slim Shady. It says, the level is packed with psychological, dream-like twists that mirror Slim Shady's fractured reality. Set within a medical facility in Hokkaido, that is the last level in the first Hitman game. Hokkaido, by the way, is a fucking fantastic level in Hitman. If you want to find fun ways to murder people, a very fancy high-tech medical facility like Hokkaido is a great level for the Hitman. But anyways, set within a medical facility in Hokkaido that has been reconfigured into the chaotic Popsam Hills Asylum, the mission follows Agent 47 as he infiltrates a surreal environment where doctors, patients, and performers blur into one. Slim Shady has transformed his former operating theater into a fully equipped broadcasting studio where he delivers erratic live performances to a captive audience of staff and inmates. Players must track him down across several interconnected areas, for example, a recording studio or a bizarre group training session where he brainwashes the doctors to participate in his evil scheme of weaponizing music. Now, we give Fortnite a lot of credit for a lot of the cool shit that they do with their different, crossover events, celebrity appearances, and stuff like that. But I would just like to point out that nobody is quite doing it on the level of Hitman. Let me point something out to you. We have had such a star-studded cast of people willing to be elusive targets and thus hunted by Agent 47 in Hitman World of Assassination, such as the late martial arts legend Bruce Lee, Mads Mikkelsen, Sean Bean, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Gary Busey. Now, for the record, with Bruce Lee, there is the exception. You did not actually kill Bruce Lee. You teamed up with him in a mission. They've also included Conor McGregor, who is, I don't know if you know, Conor McGregor, terrible human being. He's actually so awful that they removed him from the game. So if you didn't buy the Conor McGregor DLC, you can't do it now. But if you own it already, you can do whatever you want to him until the cows come home. They've also had Gary Cole as a celebrity appearance as well. I'm just trying to think of anybody else. I mean, listen, man, star-studded cast, right? All the stars are here between Sean Bean, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Gary Busey, Mads Mikkelsen, Bruce Lee, and now Eminem and Slim Shady. So you know what? If you can't tell just by the sound of my voice, I'm very excited to murder Slim Shady, and I'm looking forward to it. However, I will say that this feels like it is old. Like it feels, when did that Eminem album come out? I'm going to look this up. Please bear with me. When did The Death of Slim Shady come out? The Death of Slim Shady came out last year, and it is supposedly like the last album to feature Slim Shady and that persona and all of that stuff. Like most recent Eminem albums, it is a mixed bag at best. What's the last great Eminem album? What is it's not Music to Be Murdered By, which was it's not okay. First of all, it's not The Death of Slim Shady, which came out last year. It's not Music to Be Murdered By. It's which is 2020. It's not Kamikaze, which is 2018. It's certainly not Revival. If you want to listen to one of the most hilariously bad rap albums I have ever heard, you should go listen to Revival, because it's terrible. Terrible. Now, when I say the last great Eminem record, there's a good chance we're going to be going as far back as the early 2000s to get to that. But I would say you could probably pin the Marshall Mathers LP2 from 2013 as a pretty decent, pretty good Eminem album. I would say the last good Eminem album. That's my humble opinion anyways. But hey, it doesn't matter. We're going to hunt down Slim Shady and put an end to him once and for all in Hitman World of Assassination, coming December 1st. Speaking of crossovers and gaming events, we can now confirm that Fortnite's Quentin Tarantino season will include a previously unfilmed Kill Bill short. The Kill Bill themed season begins at the end of this month, wrapping up the Simpsons event that is happening now. The news was announced by Kill Bill director Quentin Tarantino and star Uma Thurman at a Fortnite event in Hollywood, California on Wednesday. I just love the idea. I love the idea that just like, I don't know, what's Quentin Tarantino going to do? He's going to fucking show up at a goddamn Fortnite event. I assume it was in person. It's launching November 30th, replacing the current Simpsons season. The Kill Bill themed season of Fortnite is being released to celebrate Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which is coming to theaters in December. If you don't know what Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair is, Kill Bill originally was designed to be a single movie. It was designed to be a single movie that got split up into two parts. Now, all of these years later, it is being combined into a whopping 281-minute long film that is 4 hours and 41 minutes to you and me, Russ. And it's also going to include a 10 to 15-minute intermission. But basically, Quentin Tarantino says, the time is now. We're going to put it out the way I imagined it. You're also going to get select presentations in both 70mm and 35mm screenings if you want to. Here's my problem with Kill Bill. The first part is a lot better than the second part. Like, the first part's a cool samurai movie, and then the second part is a fucked up, messy, like, spaghetti western. And I'm not saying spaghetti westerns can't be fucked up or messy, but God, that first part is good, and that second part is just, she's fucking sitting in the SUV looking at her foot because Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish, so it's just like minutes of Uma Thurman staring at her naked ass foot in an SUV after getting out of the coma. Spoilers for Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill film, but she's just staring at her naked ass foot saying wiggle your big toe for what feels like forever in part two. But anyways, let's all celebrate Quentin. Maybe, you know what? Here's the thing. You know, Quentin Tarantino did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What is to stop them from building upon this Quentin Tarantino and Kill Bill themed season of Fortnite? Fuck it. Put Charles Manson in Fortnite. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's move on. Speaking of feet and the things that feet are good for, I can now confirm that there is officially new licensed Crocs designed to look like an Xbox controller, buttons and all. It is called the Xbox Classic Clog Collaboration. It is out now. Prices start at $20. Can I buy this? Where do I go to buy these Crocs? Okay. They are currently in stock. They are currently in my size, and they are $100 Canadian, which seems like a small price to pay to get some fashionable shoes that would stay on the entire time you are having sex. And I imagine that you would be having a lot of sex while wearing the Xbox Crocs. Xbox, say that 10 times real fast. Xbox Crocs, Xbox Crocs, Xbox. Anyways, it's got the little holes that are in the Croc shoes. They've put the buttons in there. They put both analog sticks, the D-pad, the pause button, the guide button, the menu button, and the whatever button. Anyways, it's got all the buttons are here. It doesn't seem to have the triggers that I can tell, but it also says inside the shoe, it's got the Xbox brand name in it, and then it says player left and player right. Because they're shoes. Anyways, if you get them and you are enamored by potential sexual partners, please let me know. Let's move on. I said we were going to talk about Saudi Arabia, and damn, and I meant it, man. Saudi Arabia is reportedly running low on cash following the investment in the EA deal. Several of the private investment funds' investments are in financial distress, and EA agreed to a $55 billion deal to go private. I know, don't you hate that? Don't you hate when you spend billions of dollars and somehow run out of money? Well, here's what we know is that the Saudi Public Investment Fund has made sweeping investments in recent years and is central to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's goal of making the Saudi economy less reliant on proceeds from oil. That includes numerous investments in the video game industry, including stakes in game publishers such as Take-Two and Nintendo, and a recent $55 billion deal to take control of Electronic Arts. Now, according to the New York Times, the PIF could be set to close its wallet for the time being due to several projects that are in financial distress, according to 11 people briefed on its operation. Those projects include Neom, a vast region and ski resort featuring robot workers, a coffee chain with one shop so far, a cruise line with one ship, and an electric vehicle startup that has yet to deliver a car. According to the New York Times sources, the PIF is actively restructuring its operations, and the prince has fired the head of at least one of its projects, Neom. I wonder if fired the head means that they still have a head. I don't know how it works over there. It is also said to be drawing up plans to invest more in conventional areas like publicly traded stocks, which is probably a safer bet. You put a bunch of money into the New York Stock Exchange, the whatever the hell, NASDAQs, your Toronto stock, anyways, all those things might be a safer bet than, say, buying EA. The point is that the largest investments by PIF recently was its bid for FIFA and Battlefield publisher Electronic Arts. PIF's representatives say it's a long-term investment that will eventually double in value. Now, it'll probably only double in value if you fire half the people making the game and sell off some amount of the IPs that are involved, right? Sell Mass Effect and Dragon Age to Microsoft, who will go on to do fuck all with that. And maybe you might make your money back or even double it. We shall see. And we'll see in a moment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot of Call of Duty news to get to. Stick around. We will be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Couple quick news stories here. First one, we talked about this, the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Endgame mode, that is the PvE only extraction shooter mode, which originally with that mode, you needed to have beaten the campaign. So you needed to play through that no good, rotten, very bad co-op campaign just to unlock this potentially cool new mode. The good folks over at Treyarch have realized the error of their ways by gatekeeping and blocking one of the only cool things about the campaign from the only cool thing about the new campaign is now available to everyone. So It first required you to beat the campaign. Now it will just unlock it for everybody. However, there's a couple cool things that you may be rewarded for if you have beaten the campaign already. If you beat the campaign by Friday, which this is an old news story, so if you haven't beaten the campaign by now, I don't know what to tell you, but if you have beaten it, you may have received 3 1-hour double level up XP tokens, 3 1-hour double weapon XP tokens, 3 1-hour double battle pass XP tokens, and 3 perkaholic gobble gums, which are used in the zombies mode. The point is that this game's not doing great. Like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, I'm sure there are games that came out this year that would kill to have the failure of Black Ops 7, right? I'm sure there's some games that sold like gangbusters, but didn't do what Black Ops 7 did, even as a failure. So they're making a couple of changes, doing stuff, to maybe appease some people, maybe win some fans over, but it's not like you can put the genie back in the bottle, right? You can't, they're going to put out another game next year. We already have rumors and speculations about what next year's game is going to be. But there's already rumors and speculations about next year's game, and it's not like they can undo the damage done by Black Ops 7. Unfortunately, you also can't undo the damage being done in time for the release of the next game. So if you are really looking for Call of Duty to do some soul searching, to do some refinement and really reimagine, check its head, for lack of a better word, it is not going to be found in next year's game. Next year's game is whatever next year's game was going to be. And there's a very good chance that next year's game is probably influenced by, to some extent, on what was done in either Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 6 and 7, right? This is probably the road that Call of Duty goes down until they are able to make a reset happen, which, those games come out every year. They're not going to skip a year. They're going to put out another game next year, which means that they don't really have a lot of time to reset until 2 to 3 years from now, realistically, unless they do something crazy like delay something, but I doubt they will. One thing I wanted to mention with the end game mode is that I played it. I successfully beat a run in it, and what that means is that I was able to make it through the area round by round by round, extraction, whatever, without dying, and make it to the final boss in that game. And I'll tell you this. They put story stuff behind that mode. Like, there's a whole cutscene that you experience after you've killed the final boss in that endgame mode, which sets up whatever can happen next in the next Black Ops game. Like, they're basically like, oh, this is the real bad guy, and now we got to take him down. After you've beaten the main boss in Black Ops 7 in the main campaign, after you've beaten the second person in the Black Ops 7 endgame mode, it is so profoundly stupid that it's almost not worth seeing through it for story purposes. Like, if you are a hardcore person who did play through the campaign, do not go into this endgame mode hoping to, get filled in and, really have that final piece of the epilogue puzzle presented to you. It is not that. It's not good. It's dumb. It's almost worse than the actual ending in Black Ops 7, which is barely an ending anyways. The whole, they are done. Put a bow on it. Black Ops is over. Do not, for the love of God, do not make a sequel to this Black Ops game. Do not do it. Do not follow the story. Do not tell me about the continued adventures of the David Mason and his crew or whatever. The continued adventures of Michael Rooker, whoever. Don't fucking touch it. And I would say, if you're not going to touch the future stuff in Black Ops, stop touching the past. Don't talk about Frank Woods. Don't talk about Alex Mason. Don't talk about Hudson. Don't talk about any, like, stop it. Marshall. Don't talk about Marshall. Don't talk about the number stations. Don't talk about, is it all in your head? Stop it. Black Ops is done. Put a bullet. I know that technically Black Ops 3 takes place after the events of Black Ops 7, but like that happened so long ago and everything's been so fucking mismatched out of order. Again, Black Ops 6 is a fantastic game, especially if you played Black Ops Cold War. You're probably going to really enjoy what Black Ops 6 has to offer. And if you have a chance to play Black Ops 1 and 2, those games are probably pretty old now, but they're still probably good as far as those games go. And Black Ops 3, again, that's the farthest this timeline goes. That's probably about as far as you should take it. Skip the Black Ops 7 story entirely, and Call of Duty, just stop it. If you want to say we see a lot of value in the Black Ops name, and you want to do something like reboot all of Black Ops, like wipe the slate clean, fine. Nothing gold can stay, but also we're just going to be resold the same shit in our media until the day we die anyways. But for the love of God, do not make a Black Ops 8. Do not make a Black Ops in between the Cold War and the Desert Storm game. Do not make a between the Vietnam War and the Cold War game. Do not make a sequel to Black Ops 7 in the future. Stop it. Either reboot it, or don't make another Black Ops game. And I would also say the same thing about Modern Warfare, but all signs point to Modern Warfare 4 being the next year's game. And oh, the people of Makarov and all, like, fuck Makarov, dude. Like, I still need to play the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and I'm actually thinking of playing replaying 1. I don't replay Call of Duty campaigns because why would you? But you could. But I'm very tempted to replay Modern Warfare 1 and then play through the Modern Warfare 2 campaign so everything is fresh in my mind. But like, man, fuck Makarov. Like, I'm so done with him. Like, and the fucking the Ghost and Soap and what kind of name is Soap anyways? Like, Price. Like, I'm done with those guys, dude. Like, what has happened to this series? And why is it that Modern Warfare 3 was so bad and Black Ops 7 was so bad, but somehow Black Ops 6 was good? I don't get it. Man, I don't get it. There is one thing that I do get, though, which is a little bit of European sales data. And I know we all love our European sales data. Here's what I can tell you is that Black Ops 7's launch sales were down more than 60% compared to last year's game. Now, maybe it's because everyone decided to buy it on Game Pass. I don't know what the deal is. But 63% less sales than last year. According to Ampere Analysis, over 25% of Call of Duty players in September picked up Battlefield 6 in October. Now, part of what makes this game so down could be that it is not a very good game, but it also could be because of Battlefield 6 as well as Nexon's breakout hit Arc Raiders. There's also been a lot of middling reviews for the game as well. Here's one thing to note. As noted by Kotaku, Activision's own communications after Black Ops 7's release have been unusually muted. The publisher usually shares celebratory announcements about players or sales figures following the launch of each Call of Duty. However, this year the company shared no such accolades, stating only that it had seen a great response. But how great of a response is it considering Microsoft acquired the Call of Duty franchise as part of its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard in 2023, and will point to the strong performance of its last entry as evidence that the first-person shooter remains as popular as ever. 2024's Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the first to launch day and date on Game Pass. Although early results were positive, Microsoft ended up declaring it the biggest Call of Duty launch ever in terms of players. The game saw a sharper post-launch decline than usual. And I will say that I did not stick around for the post-launch content in Black Ops 6. I doubt I will with 7, but it's also a scenario where, like, with the way that Battle Pass works now in the extraction shooter mode, there's almost this part of me that's like, so it's a couple things. I am always in the mood for a game that I can play while, like, watching TV. And the extraction shooter mode in Call of Duty and the zombies mode in Call of Duty is absolutely that. Like, if I want to bust through some Simpsons, watch some Giant Bomb content, shout out to Giant Bomb. If I want to watch some fucking Mike Minotti play shitty video games like Leisure Suit Larry, Box Office Bust, and I want to also play a video game at the same time because the idea of watching that man suffer will drive me to suffer, then I can just fire up, fucking Call of Duty. Like, that was Diablo for me for the longest time. That was Destiny for me for the longest time. This could end up being a game that, because of the way the modes and stuff and the progression works, this actually could be the year I spend more time with Call of Duty than I have in a while, which seems bizarre, but is definitely a possibility. But it doesn't mean that this game is particularly amazing. It doesn't mean that this game is doing well. In fact, it's the opposite. It is both not great and not doing well. So who knows, man? If it is really Modern Warfare 3 next year, God help us all. That's the last thing I want. The last thing I want is for Call of Duty to go back to World War II. And people were asking me, like, oh, GnittWitt, like, what's up with, I heard you don't like World War II, even though World War II is the most important historical war in our history. And yeah, I get it. Here's why I don't like World War II video games, or World War I games for that matter. I think shooting old guns are boring, and I have no interest in or admiration for the historical accuracy involved in representing that technology and presenting that technology in video games. Like, if you tell me that you've made a really dope M1 Grand that sounds authentic, that has the, all the looks and the triggers and the whatever, that's awesome. I don't want to fire that gun. I don't want to shoot that gun. I don't want to use that gun in a multiplayer setting. I barely want to use that gun in a single player setting. The reason why I like Wolfenstein so much is it's alternate history, so you do get some weird weapons, but also they really make it a priority to point out in Wolfenstein that killing Nazis is fun, and that's not something that Call of Duty and Call of Duty and Battlefield really embrace to the same degree. Wolfenstein is a Nazi murdering simulator with a bunch of goofy, at times goofy weapons, and other World War I and II games are like somber and they're serious and they're whatever. And I'm fine with somber, serious tones in my first person shooters. I'm done, man. I've been there. I've done that. I was there when people were mad that Call of Duty was going back to World War II after Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare on the 360 and PS3. I was there when we got mad about it all over again when they decided after Infinite Warfare to make World War II. And then they made Vanguard, which is also a World War II game. I have been there. I have done that. I don't care about shooting guns that are in and from World War II. I don't care about the tanks, the planes. I want slick and sleek murder instruments. I want some sexy, modern, or even futuristic, near future assault rifles. I want to go brrr, I don't want to go boom and then reload and then boom and then I don't want to do it. Which makes Red Dead Redemption 2 such an exception, but there's so much more to do in Red Dead besides shoot guns that I'm willing to give that game a pass. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I want a lot of things from Call of Duty, but I also don't want them to go back to the well. And unfortunately, it seems like they're going to go back to the well, whether I like it or not, because all signs point to Modern Warfare 4 next year. Hey, if you were curious about this year's Game of the Year nominee, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, but you do not have a PlayStation 5. All signs point to that game being rated by the Entertainment Software Rating Board, ESRB, for a PC version that could be coming out sooner rather than later, with a lot of rumors suggesting that the game will be published on PC around the time of the Game Awards, whether that be an announcement that happens at the Game Awards or a shadow drop or whatever. Right now, it's looking like it's coming to PC and it could be pretty soon. Let's talk Sega. Sega has detailed its current gen upgrade prices for existing owners of Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. The improved games are coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam December 8th. All 3 games are currently available on Switch 2, so Sega and Ryu Ga Gotoku Studios have been working on updating the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam versions to bring them to modern platforms. Since most of the game changes are modest, however, Sega has implemented an upgrade plan which allows players to upgrade their existing version for a reduced cost. This is the biggest one. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which adds new cutscenes, which provide more insight into some of the characters, as well as a brand new English voiceover dub, and a new online co-op mode called Red Light Raid, will also include the theme song Bubble, which wasn't included in the Western release of the Yakuza 0. You will be able to buy the game for $50 or do the upgrade for $15 if you already own a digital version on PS4, Xbox One, or Steam. There will also be an updated version of Yakuza Kiwami, which adds the songs Receive You, Reborn, and Bleed, which weren't included in the original Western release of the game, as well as added text language support in French, Italian, German, Spanish, Latin, American, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Russian. I would love to see the characters of Yakuza speak actual French, Italian, German, Spanish, Latin American Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Russian. Like, imagine Kiryu just like speaking Russian. That could probably be fucking crazy, but not going to happen because that would be expensive. The current gen version of Yakuza Kiwami is $20. You'll be able to get the upgrade version for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S for $2. The upgrade for Yakuza Kiwami will feature language support in French, Italian, German, Spanish, Latin American Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Russian. That will be free at no additional cost. If you own a physical version of the game, tough. If you own the PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass version of the game, tough. You need to own the actual digital version of the game to be eligible for these upgrades. Xbox is reportedly warning of yet another potential price increase due to global DRAM shortages that could soon affect the Xbox console. That's according to Moore's Law is Dead, which claims that Microsoft sales reps have already warned that the sharp increase in component costs could soon affect Xbox Series Series X and S. DRAM contract prices have reportedly increased over 170% year over year, driven by a huge agreement signing by Samsung and SK in October, which will supply OpenAI with nearly half of the world's DRAM output for its Stargate data centers. According to Moore's Law is Dead sources, the resulting price hikes and shortages have left companies without a large stock of components, reportedly including Microsoft, stating they didn't plan ahead at all. If you still want an Xbox for some time at their current pricing, those prices could go up soon, or supply could just essentially dry up. Because multiple sources of mine have apparently been warned by sales reps at Microsoft, this is going to affect the Xbox Series consoles very, very soon rather than later. Which is funny because of how much Xbox has already invested into OpenAI. It's like they didn't think at all, which is kind of what the story says. They didn't plan for this at all. And now we're left with this weird scenario where they don't have the RAM to do the deal they wanted to with OpenAI. And OpenAI is taking the RAM that Xbox could have used on its consoles so they could do some other deal with Microsoft. It's very strange. Apparently, Sony has planned ahead and bought up gobs of RAM near the bottom of the pricing and could be fine for the next couple of months. They have plenty of GDDR6, at least that's what I have been told. Yeah, that's bad. That's also, I'm sorry if you're trying to build a PC right now. It's bad, man. It's just, it's bad. It's not looking good. It's bad, not good out there. If you're looking for a graphics card or for RAM, it's a damn shame. All right. Well, I said one more. We'll do one more right here. Naughty Dog's Intergalactic is reportedly skipping the Game Awards and won't release next year. If you remember, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, will not release in 2026. It was last shown in its debut at the Game Awards. It is expected to launch in 2027 or later. Let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to finish up the news, talk about the games that I've been playing. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Valve, let's talk more news, man. We're almost done with news and we'll get to the games that I've been playing. Valve has confirmed that the Steam machine will be priced like a PC with the same level of performance, and that Valve will not subsidize Steam machine prices like console manufacturers. So if you were thinking of getting a Steam machine at a reasonable price, especially now that the RAM prices have gone through the fucking roof, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think we live in a world where the Steam machine is going to be some $600 thing. I just don't see it. Like, maybe in the States it might be like $600-700, but in Canada, no way. But Steam has not actually confirmed the price, and we're hoping to find out more soon. Currently, the PS5 retails for about $500 to $550, and the PS5 Pro retails for $750. Maybe we see I don't know, in the States, maybe we see the Steam Deck at like $850 or so, but we'll find out once Valve actually announces it. Final news story. A Far Cry TV series starring Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia's Rob Mack has been announced. It is an anthology series that will have a new setting and character a new season, a new setting and characters every season, which I think makes sense in a world where they haven't done a lot of Far Cry games that are direct follow-ups from one another. I know we had Far Cry 5, and then we had Far Cry New Dawn, and we had Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which is not actually a sequel to Far Cry 3, but c'est la vie. This can make sense. My only thing is that I can't imagine caring about a Far Cry show. That's my problem, is the stories in like, they're fine. Like, Voss as a character and as a villain is fun. Pagan Mim in Far Cry 4 is a decent villain. The right wing, like, religious cults in Far Cry 5 is like, it's okay. You got Giancarlo motherfucking Esposito in Far Cry 6. It's like, yeah, he's okay. But like, the actual stories and the things that happen in the other characters, like, woof, like, I'm here to sneak up on dudes, standing around a base, open my binoculars, tag every enemy standing around in the base, and then use a silent sniper rifle or my bow and arrow to kill everyone until the guards spot the dead bodies, and then I'm just shooting my way through that base, killing everybody, hitting a button that deactivates the security in the base, and then claiming the base is mine and activating a new fast travel point. Rinse, wash, and repeat, and then maybe I'll shoot a warthog and turn him into a leather wallet or something along the way. I am not trying to dismiss the Far Cry games, do not get me wrong, but like, the stories, the characters, like, come on now. Anyways, Rob Mack also he was also the executive producer for Welcome to Wrexham. He is also in the Apple TV show Mythic Quest, as well as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One thing to note is that this shouldn't be the first time you've heard of Far Cry being adapted. It was adapted into a live action movie in 2008 by notorious filmmaker Uwe Boll. It was terrible. scoring a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is probably a little high, but what are you going to do? If I go over to the Far Cry movie, it stars Till Schweiger. Never heard of him. Wasn't this fucking filmed in Canada or some damn thing? I could have swore they filmed it in like Vancouver Island or something. Anyways, Far Cry got a terrible movie. It might get a terrible TV show, but we won't know until it comes out. Man, a $30 million budget for this Far Cry movie. It made $743,000. How did they keep letting Uwe Boll make movies after this? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. Here are the films Uwe Boll has made. He's made House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain. Right there. 3 video game movies. Then he made In the Name of the King, which is based on Dungeon Siege. Then he made Blood Rain 2 Deliverance. Then he made Postal. I've seen Postal. It fucking sucks, dude. Oh my God, that movie's awful. Anyways, so basically after Postal, which we all should have known was going to be a bad time, he made Far Cry, which was also a bad time. He did not return to make a video game movie until Blood Rain the Third Reich in 2011. So Far Cry 2008, Postal 2007, and then he did Blood Rain Third Reich and In the Name of the King 2 in the same year of 2011. He directed, when I say made, I mean directed. He also directed In the Name of the King 3 in 2014. He has not put out a video game related movie since then, which I appreciate. Really. He's terrible, man. It's just schlocky. It's just cheap. It's just lazy. It just sucks. Anyways, not to get on the the only Uwe Boll movie I have actually seen with my own eyes is Postal, which is probably the worst on the list. I don't know what could be a worse. Man, J.K. Simmons. I forgot J.K. Simmons is in fucking Postal. This is why I don't talk about video game movies and TV shows that often, because more often than not, it's just a bad time, man. Let's move on. Talk about the games that I've been playing. So like I said, it is a very shit or get off the pot sort of deal around here as I try to prepare for things like Game of the Year and whatnot. As of right now, I have dropped Hades 2 and the Outer Worlds 2. One, I just don't think the Outer Worlds 2 runs particularly well. It just like getting, around 60 frames per second, inconsistently on like medium settings is just not what I want out of my games. Just being honest. And as close as I am to that Hades 2 story, it just doesn't feel like close to that Hades 2 ending. I just don't know. I don't know. How many, I guess I would love to know how many more runs in Hades do I have? Do I have 3 runs left? Do I have 5, 10? I don't know. I feel like I gotta be getting close to the end, but I don't know. I guess it could always be a thing that since I'm so checked out of the story, I could also play while I'm watching TV or something in the background. But as someone who really loved that Hades 1 story, I'm just disappointed in the Hades 2 story. Like I told you, I wrapped up Call of Duty Black Ops 7's end game mode. I can always go back and replay it and unlock new character. upgrades and abilities and do all of that stuff and keep grinding out my levels and continue to prestige and do all of that stuff. But I might just wait around and see what that battle pass looks like. Don't worry. I'm not going to give the money. There's no way in hell I'm going to buy the battle pass in Black Ops 7. I put my hand down. I put my foot down and use this podcast as proof in case I break my word. But I'm telling you right now, there's no way in hell I'm going to buy that battle pass, but I am curious to see what that progression experience looks like in a scenario where you can unlock all of that stuff by playing the single player and the end game mode and zombies as well. Fired up a remake of an old video game called System Shock. If you don't know System Shock, you could say it's like the grandfather of a lot of, first person, action adventure exploration based games is probably the best way to describe it. I don't know how else you like it. Yeah, I could call it an immersive sim and I could say all these things, but like that's basically what System Shock is. It's a first person, action adventure game. You're exploring this, area. There's story, there's all of this stuff. But the thing about System Shock is that it is a very old game. The original System Shock, if I can pull up the details for you, originally came out in 1994. System Shock is as old as me. It was remade from the ground up by Night Dive Studios in 2023 with new visuals, controls, overhauled interface, all new music, sounds, original voice acting, all sorts of stuff. And it is a very slow exploration heavy game that does not give you a lot of sense of direction. It gives you a map and it tells you where you haven't been on that map. So in a way, it almost kind of reminds me of like, Castlevania Symphony of the Night sort of scenario where you don't like, they kind of, in Castlevania of the Night at least tells you, hey, meet this character in the cutscenes and you like, oh, I'll see you later, Alucard and all this stuff. But like, it doesn't really tell you where to go, but it at least gives you a pretty decent map layout. This feels a lot more, when in terms of map layout, I mean, the layout of the castle in Castlevania, but also the map that you use to look at it. This feels more like a maze. I really feel like I'm a rat a chicken with running around my head cut off in a rat maze. And I'm just not. System Shock 1 is not doing it for me. I also picked up System Shock 2, which was remastered, not remade, but remastered from this year. It is also kind of, on the lips of people talking about, favorite games of this year. But I think a lot of that's going to come down to people who played the original game that really love this remaster and stuff like that. So I've not actually touched System Shock 2 25th anniversary remaster, but I have played enough System Shock 1 to tell you that I don't think I want to keep going with it, but I'll mess around with this game and see how it goes. But then I started thinking about, the legacy of great games, like the beloved games like System Shock 1 and 2. And it got me thinking about BioShock specifically and how I have played BioShock 1 only once. It's been a very long time since I played it. And BioShock Infinite only once. It's been a very long time since I played it. So I have decided to slowly pick away at BioShock 2, a game that assumes you remember a fair bit about what happened in BioShock 1 to some extent. But it is essentially its own separate story that takes place after the events of BioShock 1. I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't want to. If you have somehow avoided BioShock 1 spoilers up until now, I'll keep that streak alive going for you. But if you haven't played BioShock, you probably should. I don't know how amazing it's aged and held up. Playing the remaster of BioShock 2, it looks all right. It controls okay, but really I'm there for the story, the atmosphere, to go back to the world of Rapture and, that setting and all of that stuff. And I've been enjoying it for sure, more than something like System Shock. But I'm thinking by this time next week, I'll have probably played a little bit of System Shock 2 to tell you more about it. That is my plan anyways. And like I said, I really wasn't planning on finishing Hades, but if I'm really that close to it, maybe I'll keep poking at it. But that is my plan for right now, is to, really just commit to either starting a new game, thinking I'll finish it, or wrap up the games that I have been playing, which also means that I got to commit to a little game called Final Fantasy Tactics, as well as everything else. But when does that Black Ops season pass come out? I'm curious now. Oh, I will definitely be playing the Kill Slim Shady mission whenever that is, but that's not until the 1st, so I need to play that. I've not played it because it's not out yet, but I will play it when it comes out. Yeah, I don't have. Okay, so the Black Ops Season 1 Battle Pass launches on December 4th. So not even until next. So maybe I just take a week off from playing Call of Duty. I don't know. That's probably not the worst idea. I mean, look, I've been enjoying the game, but it's not a good game and I wouldn't recommend it. And there's probably games that are more respecting of my time that I should be playing, but here I am. Such is life. Such is life. Such as this podcast. That is going to do it for this week's podcast. I have been GnittWitt. You can find everything that I do over at my Linktree. That is linktree.com/GnittWitt. GnittWitt. I am on Twitch, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram. All of those good things can be found over at my Linktree, linktree.com/GnittWitt. GnittWitt. One more time. And you can find this podcast, Glitch Report, a video game podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, get it? Anyways, iHeartRadio, as well as wherever else you want to get your podcasts. There, I promise you. And I promise you, we'll be back next week to talk more about video games and the news surrounding them. We'll see you all next time. Take it easy.